So Sam's just been told off for bringing a beanbag outside, so that's why he's here right now trying to win back my love after me telling him off. Welcome to my backyard, and I'm sorry about the laundry behind me, but it's just, you got to get laundry done. So I just come back from my walk with Sammy, and we were, it's a beautiful day, and I thought I'd just sit out the back with my cup of, my dirty chai actually. That's what we kind of like to drink nowadays, is a dirty chai, or a dirty hippie as I've had it been told to me before. I wanted to talk a little bit more about what I started chatting to you about yesterday, which was, do you fit in or do you fit out? We were talking about the movie Home, and I recommend it. It's a very funny movie. It's got the guy Jim Parsons, who plays Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang. He's the lead voice character. It's very, very funny. But anyway, the premise of what I was talking about yesterday was all about, do you fit in or do you fit out? And it was really in regards to, are you a creative person living in a constrained life and a constrained world? And I think there's so many examples of where we've built this world very much for left-brained people, or left-brained processes, or left-brain practices, and we're not all primarily left-brained. There is absolutely preferences for people. I'm a practitioner in the HBDI, which is the whole brain thinking profiling tool, and so I know very much about the preferences within the brain and where people go to first. There's a lot of people who have a preference for the creative emotional side of their brain, and that's where they go to first. And these are the people, if you're a process-based person and you're systematic, you like checklists and stuff that drive you absolutely nuts because they never follow the rules, or they do their own thing, or they're trying to, they seem like a renegade. And the reason they seem like a renegade is because we've set this society up so much for the left brain. There was a quote that I remember seeing that was actually attributed to Albert Einstein, but they haven't been able to trace it back to Albert. But like a lot of the quotes that are on the internet, they haven't been able to trace them back to him. So the quote goes along the lines of, and I'm probably going to screw it up, but I'll try it anyway. It's, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the system mind is a faithful servant. And yet we've set up society to revere the servant and dismiss the gift. When I first read that, it just absolutely clicked into me, because I'm very much right-brained, and I live my life as much as I can as a creative person. I do that now, but I never used to. I used to be stuck in a world that didn't really appreciate me being creative, and it was a really hard world to live in. But now I'm able to live in a creative way, in a creative world, with a lot of beautiful creative people around me, and it's where I'm supposed to be. It's all of a sudden I've discovered what this whole being happy and living to purpose thing is all about, which I never had before, when I was particularly when I was in corporate world, living very much to other people's rules and very constraining rules. So I've got lots of people in my life who are very creative, and I had a conversation the other day with a colleague friend of mine who's also my hypnotherapist as well. So I'm one of her clients, and that's just amazing. So, but we were having a conversation about being creative and being constrained within the corporate world, and she said that she'd had this epiphany not long ago that although she likes process and likes practices, and she likes to set up structure and systems, that she's actually very creative in her soul, and she realizes that she's let some of that go while she's been within this world of trying to capture these systems and these processes. So she's now trying to really reconnect with that part of who she is, and live an authentic life. I've got lots of other friends that are doing the same thing. I've got a friend, Kylie, who's a singer-songwriter, who's an amazing singer-songwriter. And in the last 12 months, I've just watched her absolutely blossom, and just, she's releasing her EP, and she's at the Fringe this year now. And the work that she's doing is just astounding. But she literally has had to go, you know what, this is freaking important to me, and I know that it doesn't fit in society, and I know it's going to be hard, but I'm going to just power through. I'm going to do it. That's leadership. When I talk about leadership, that's what leadership is. It's powering through even when you look around and people go, what are you doing? You can't be a musician. Nobody's going to make money from that. You can't be an artist. You can't be a photographer. You can't do all those sort of things. And still powering through and doing it and living that creative life. That is true leadership. Another example, it's a funny example, I think, of living in a constrained world, and the pressure that we put on ourselves and the pressure that we put on other people to live in this constrained world was, I was in the car the other day with my kids, and we were running a little bit late because creative people run a little bit late. That's just what we do. So I was running a little bit late, and my kids were fine. We're on our way to school, and I decided to nip down this this sort of shortcut that I know that I'm not supposed to use, but I thought, I'll just quickly use it, and it's a really weird situation. It's a very large road, busy road, but this one tiny little section of the road, it would be, like 15 steps of the road, is being constrained to buses only, one way or the other. So it means that this whole road becomes inaccessible. The issue is that on one side of the road, the only way out of this suburb area is to go onto a very, very busy main road, or if you nip through this busway, which is like 15 steps, you can actually get out onto a not so busy road. So it actually, for me, it's a quicker way of getting to school. And I don't normally use it because obviously there are rules there, but occasionally I nip through, and if there's nobody around, it's like, well, whatever. And because I don't understand the rule, I really do not understand the rule. To understand the logic behind it, I cannot see it. So if anybody does understand that logic, if they can just comment below and let me know what that's all about, that would be fabulous. But I don't understand it, so I nipped through. And yes, I did the wrong thing. I passed by this car, and he decided that he took, was very offended by the fact that I had not followed this particular rule. He beeped his horn really strongly at me as I drove past, and I thought, okay, no worries, mate. You didn't like that. That's fine. Good on you. So, and I drove around, and I parked at the parking lights and at the crossroads. And he proceeded to get out of his car and come and bash on my window to tell me off and point at me and yell at me for breaking that rule. And I thought the irony of that was extraordinary, that he was so angry with me for breaking this little rule, which really had no effect on him, no effect on anybody else. There was no traffic on the road. It was just, really quick. And yes, I did the wrong thing. But he took the wrongness to the next level to tell me that I'd done something wrong. And I just found that absolutely fascinating, because I see this all the time in people. She yelled at me, so I punched her in the face. It's this kind of, I am going to fight for the rules by breaking other rules. And I just found that absolutely fascinating. And my kids were in the car, and they got scared by this. And, so I had to explain to them about, some people take the rule setting to the next level, and they find it's their whole world to make sure other people follow rules. And they will even get violent and abusive to make sure that you follow the rules. So is this the sort of society that we want to live in, that we have people getting violent with us to make sure that we follow the rules and constrain ourselves within this society? That's not really the kind of world that I want to live in. Yes, I did the wrong thing, and yes, it was naughty and I shouldn't have done it. But his wrong thing was worse. So I don't understand how he feels justified in being able to do that. But, that's his world and not mine. So, yes, we live in a constrained world, and particularly when we're creative, it really feels constrained to us. So Are you creative living in a constrained world? Are you breaking out of those constraints and doing your own thing and living an authentic life? And I think if you are, then you are a true leader. Thanks, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.